Some going to nearby states, others into Mexico, and many into the US, one of the first large migrations from Central America, created mainly by the CIA, the US government, and dictators like Trump with no heart.
We were asked over and over what inspired this presentation. And what inspired it was the lies that we hear from Washington, D.C., the lies every moment coming out of, whose mouth? The so-called president. And the media, too. The media reports that over and over and over, and then Fox picks up that information also. But you notice that they never give you enough information. They always say, they tell you what happened and who it happened to, but they don't say who, what, where, when, why. Okay? Without asking those 5 questions, you're not going to get to the bottom of anything. So anyway, without further ado, I think I've told you enough. We want to begin the program, and this is called Who is Responsible? This play talks about that. We're going to take those historical trips back into time to see what happened, to see what the media will not tell us.
The Americans came to Vietnam to take our country by force. They were convinced they could win because they brought with them a secret weapon, a program they called Phoenix. But in 1975, the Americans were defeated. The red and blue flag of Viet Cong flew over the U.S. Embassy. Saigon fell. The president of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, declared a victory and announced the end of the war. The last soldiers, Marines, left in a hurry.
Ho
Chi, Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi, Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi, Ho Chi Minh.
Whoa! Wait a minute! What are you doing? Don't you know who I am? I'm the command officer of this entire operation! Don't you recognize me?
Yes, sir. I do recognize you now, sir. You're Agent X, commanding officer of the Phoenix program and supreme commander of the CIA. I've always loved your work, sir.
Look at us! What happened to us? It wasn't that long ago when we had the Viet Cong by the throat! Remember?
Yes, sir. I do remember.
Remember when our troops refused to go after the enemy? So we bombed them back to the Stone Age anyway. Remember?
Yes. But that didn't stop them.
So, we bombed them again and again. Remember? But somehow, they grew stronger. So I then ordered our troops to go after the civilians. Yeah. Children, women, the older folks, to burn their villages to the ground, to spread Agent Orange everywhere, to destroy, to terrorize.
But our soldiers, they refused to kill the civilians. They even stopped going on patrol, avoiding contact with the enemy, and refusing to take our orders.
Yes, they even began newspapers protesting about the inhumanity of the war. Can you believe that? It's all that fault of that little yellow communist. Just when we had them right here in our sights, he somehow outsmarts us, reorganizes his people, and by then overruns the south of Vietnam. It's all that fault of that little yellow communist, Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi, Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi, Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi, Ho Chi Minh.
Commander, let's get the hell out of here. Our job here is done. Wait, where are you going?
I don't know, sir. It just feels like a real shame. Leaving with nothing, completely defeated.
On the contrary, Commander, we're leaving with the most valuable thing we came here with.
What's that, sir?
NEA, the Phoenix program. Why don't you come with me?
To where, sir?
Come here, son.
Mexico.
It's ripe for the taking. And if we want more, South America!
South America.
Central America!
Central America.
And if we're not satisfied with that, the Caribbean islands, they're right there! Come on!
Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh.
Commander! No! It's ours! Those are helicopters! Those are our helicopters! No! Please come back! No! Come back for us! Please don't leave us here! Ah!
We're going back in history in order to show you how the CIA's involvement in Guatemala had a lot to do with what's going on right now at the border with immigrant mothers and their children. The idea of taking countries by force became a reality in 1954 when President Eisenhower gave the CIA $2.7 million for Operation Success to overthrow the Guatemalan president Jacobo Arbenz, even though he had already been democratically elected by the people. What was the president doing that made the U.S. mad enough to attack? Let's take a look.
Señores, señoras, atención, atención. Jacobo Arbenz es el nuevo presidente de Guatemala. Arbenz es el nuevo presidente de 1951.
Dijo que era presidente, sí, ¿lo escucharon? ¡Que viva!
¡Que viva Jacobo Arbenz! ¡Sí! ¡Y que viva!
Un momento, una porra para todos nosotros.
¡Sí!
Además del derecho de votar, también podemos organizar uniones. We can vote. Public debate. Freedom of speech guaranteed.
Hermanos! I just ran from the city. The most thing has happened. Ha pasado una cosa pero maravillosa. You know, none of us have ever had land. Wonderful. It's just from the coming of the Spaniards. Nos quitaron todo, ¿verdad? Pero ahora, because of the new president, he gave us land. Nos dio tierra. He has given us land. Tierra. Tierra para nosotros. Sí. Tierra. Por fin vamos a tener tierra. Sí.
Señores, señoras, atención. Jacobo Arbenz es el nuevo presidente de Guatemala. The president has given us land. Tierra.
¡Tierra libertad! ¡Tierra libertad!
¡Que viva la democracia!
¡Long live democracy!
how those peons call it? Oh, I meant to say peasants. The right to vote. Workers' right to organize. Agrarian reform. Bullshit! All that are lies. Communist propaganda. And the land that they call con tanta pasión. That doesn't belong to them. That stupid President Arbenz stole us from our beloved, our closest, our dearest friends, the United Fruit Company. And nobody messes up with the United Fruit Company because they are 100% American. You wait until I go back and tell President Eisenhower what is going down here. He's not going to be happy. Indeed, he's going to explode. And I warn you, don't support those leftists. Don't help them in any way, or you are going to feel the anger of the United Fruit Company. Sorry, I meant to say the United States of America. And remember, I was never here. I never told you anything. Nobody can prove a thing.
What the priest just told us?
Yes, Juana, I believe that the priest is telling us the truth. Let's get back to our families. I'm afraid.
But he said that the communists are coming to take our country.
Yes, that is what he said. Vámonos, Juana.
Pero yo tengo una pregunta. I have a question.
What, Juana? What is it?
¿Qué es un comunista? What is a communist?
I don't know. But if they're enemies of God, enemigos de Dios Todopoderoso, they must be devils. ¡Diablos!
¡Ay, María! ¡Ahí vienen los comunistas! ¡Vámonos! ¡Ay! ¡Ahí vienen! ¡Ahí vienen!
Attention! Attention! This is station POO Poo-Poo. Bringing you a message from the commander of the American Navy. We already bombed Guatemala City. Thousands have been killed by our military. Thousands more will die. Abandon the idea of fighting. You cannot win against the all-powerful, mighty, imperial, democracy-loving United States of America. Remember, no one messes with the United Fruit Company. Attention! Attention! This is station POO.
Scared, the Guatemalan army refused to fight. Arbenz, the president, had no choice but to resign and leave. With the help of the CIA, Arbenz took over the presidency and quickly put an end to the democracy and freedoms the people had enjoyed. Arbenz tortured, imprisoned, killed thousands. Almost 40 years of the revolution and the people's armies fighting dictator after dictator, all backed by the US, who were so brutal, they killed over 200,000 Maya people. Hundreds and thousands left their homes never to return. Some going to nearby states, others into Mexico, and many into the US, one of the first large migrations from Central America, created mainly by the CIA, the US government, and dictators like Trump with no heart.
We have one last statement before you leave. Now, when you hear the media and so forth, you know, and you hear little mentiritas or big lies or whatever, at least you know what the truth is, and that is that the United States is playing dumb. They don't want to give us the information because they look like crap, which they are and have been, okay? We don't have to be nice to the United States government because they're not being nice to us, right? Exactly. So, since the 19th century, the U.S. has involved itself in the daily affairs of Latin American nations through interventions, the removing of popular and democratic leaders, installing dictatorships, economic warfare, corporate plundering, the sapping of resources, creating poverty, instability, and violence that now drives people from Central America, undermining democracy and stability in those countries. And here are some very bothering facts. 250 million people, 1/4 billion people in the world are immigrants. Can you imagine that? Un cuarto. $304 billion a year are contributed by immigrants to this country. Did you know that? Did you know that? $354 billion. And they say that the immigrants don't bring anything to this country. I'll tell you what, the day that there are no immigrants, there's no business in this place either. 737 U.S. military bases in more than 100 countries worldwide. Does that look to you like this country wants peace? I don't think so. ¿Verdad que no? Israel trained Salvadorian landowners and the military to create death squads. The U.S. provides military aid to over 73% of the world's dictators.
Our
This
tax
country,
money, our tax money.
with our tax money. Another fact that I learned a couple of days ago is that half of the families that live in the United States, all of the population, are in poverty, or one paycheck away from it. Can you imagine those statistics? I never dreamed I would see that half of this country would be pobrecitos, ¿verdad? These are some of the solutions that we know that will rectify, that will take care of the problems with immigrants at the border. Reunification of children with their mothers and relatives. Immediate medical care of all children and families currently locked up in prisons. Compensation to all the countries the U.S. has harmed in the form of programs that will rebuild and offer jobs to the poor so they won't have to leave their homes. Close all of the for-profit prisons holding thousands of children, women, and men who have committed no crime. Qué vergüenza, ¿verdad? To have all these people in prison and they haven't done anything wrong. What the hell's the matter with this country, huh? What the hell's the matter with the leadership, including the damn Democrats, too? Two more. We offer citizenship in lieu of the destruction of their environment, infrastructure of their cities and countries. Instead of giving the money to the dictatorships, stabilize the nutrition of the people and their communities to help them recuperate. Here is a name, here is something that you're not going to hear on television very much. They will call you Hispanic, they will call you Latinx, they will call you Latinos, and they will go through all kinds of hell not to say the word Mexican. Can we hear that word here real loud? Let's say Mexican.
Mexican. Mexican. Mexican.